I'm now giving the machine gun sentient life, but right as I say that, it gets destroyed. Oh, machine gunner, I loved you, but... Oh, no, Daimler. Daimler! Why? What? Ah, this guy, his tire's on fire, and he's also on fire. It's a shame, it's a damn freaking shame, but never mind. I like fire in this game. Position of this machine gun is buggy at most, but it is helping out, firing onto the trenches on the opposite side of that runway. A lot of infantry for Death's Hand in that trench. The machine gun's definitely helping out. Already one guy gets shot though in the machine gun. Death's Hand moving one guy behind a sandbag. I do feel that Death's Hand has a little bit more cover than Underground General on his side of the map. You can see all the health bars as well. So much infantry in that trench. But the attention for the German forces is basically the central zone and the right hand side. It seems where a majority of the forces have been allocated. Currently we have 2 neutral points on the map, which is an indication that this match is even, because there's constant fighting happening all over and it's very difficult to take a point. Shooter doesn't appear to have as much infantry in this area as he used to. He does have an officer and a Panzer IV which has been taken out already. He's repairing that. The officer's lining up a flare gun shot by the looks of it. He fires on his target, which is most likely this Matilda. A nice line of smoke coming down, but Thompson-Nagant not going to be easily destroyed by that. He's moving his infantry out of the way as well as the Matilda. He moves them towards that right-hand position, trying to take the zone. It seems there's little resistance here from Shooter. He doesn't have as much infantry, remember. That officer pulling out his binoculars, looking through this house. Really? Can you actually see through that window with the binoculars? Interesting question, because this answers to this question would mean you could stick an officer in a house and look out the windows of the binoculars. Maybe that's useful in some situations. You can keep it hidden, and since he's not firing back, he would be relatively safe, I'd say, from the enemies. Or at least the enemy wouldn't know to his presence. On the left-hand side, we have a Panzer III and a 222 waiting to surprise the enemy. As soon as they attack on that left hand, I'm sure they're going to move in and repel the attack. Now, this is a beautiful thing I can do when I'm just spectating these games, is get some different camera angles on the game, and just look at the combat happening right here. We've got infantry all over the screen, and you can get an idea of how the movement is going, how the movement is happening in this area as both players control their infantry, trying to take this zone. And I do believe, I haven't said this in a while, but the main reason why I want to do these games is, this game looks so awesome. When someone's playing it and your recording is based on that person's perspective, the camera angle is dodging around all the time, and you can miss a lot of what the game is about if you're looking at it. You can see infantry just jumping out of the way, the grenades flying around. There's so much carnage and action going on. You just kind of miss it all when you're watching from a player's point of view. But that's what we're here. That's what we're seeing right now, and it just looks incredible. I do hope you're enjoying this as much as I do. I try and make this experience a little bit more than just me commentating over a video being watched. I had all this fancy graphics and music to make this more of an esport material. And remember that it's not just about the players fighting it out and trying to be superior and showing their skills. That is a part of it, but remember, esport would not exist if people was not interested in watching it. Anyway, it looks like the Brits managed to get an assault off on this central position. They have taken it, but they haven't eliminated this machine gun post. It seems as if Death's Hand has decided to give up on the left-hand side for a time being. He probably still has infantry there. We've got an artillery strike being called down on the Panzer IV. Panzer IV is still alive and repairable, although it looks like Shooter may be giving up on it. No, in fact, the repair kit actually got blown away in a blast, and unfortunately, the commander... Oh no, not Pablo. Not Pablo, the commander. Your essay pickup. For anyone that's not getting this, I was told before the game that Shooter was Mexican or Spanish, or one of the two, maybe Mexican, Spanish. So I just get the idea that every single one of his troops is called Pablo. because that's the only Mexican Spanish name I can think of. Please comment me some more Spanish Mexican names. I am actually genuinely interested because my mind is boggled. Anyway, Pablo moves in to take this zone now. It is neutralized and it's going to take a while for him to take, and that Mark II's Matilda is firing upon him. We had a Churchill enter the field, and it seems like that also was trying to get repaired. It most likely took some damage from this pack gun, and the Churchill took it out. Says my excellent deduction skills. The middle point has been neutralized. It seems as if... I'm not sure. Now the Germans are taking it, but it seems very weak for both players. You can look on the map and see there's very little green dots in this area, which means it could easily be taken out if they just focus more attention on the central zone, if the Brits focus more. But we have an artillery strike coming down that Churchill, and sure enough, that Churchill is going to be no more. Let's see. Ah, nice. Oh, it's like being next to the sun. That was very bright. I do hope your eyes are still intact, because there's plenty more to see in this game. Such as an entire squad of infantry being gunned down. Beautiful sight indeed. It brings tears to my eyes. Nebelwerfer also firing, stopping those troops from advancing, but also giving them some craters to hide in, which I never like doing. Oh, it's so annoying when you get artillery, you just start smashing your opponent, and then they start using your craters. It's like, you have no right to that crater. I made that crater. Give it back. Damn those selfish people. Those selfish people. Anyway, it looks like Shooter has firmly reinforced this right-hand side. A lot of infantry spread out in this area. We've got a small squad of 3 dudes moving up. It looks like they're trying to get a Panzerfaust off on the Matilda. They, unfortunately, all died to his infantry in this area. Even Thompson-Nagant brings up a half-track. You know, there could have been more infantry approaching, but it seems like he's going to continue with that and press the assault on this zone with that half-track. It's a second half-track now. Machine gun returns fire on that half-track, but yeah, the half-track was a little bit superior there. Veteran Tiger. An interesting choice for the right-hand side. Like I said, it's very urban, and tanks don't really do well in urban environments, so interesting to see how he's going to use that over there. He's definitely moving it over to that right-hand side. So we'll see shortly what he plans to do with it. We've got a Nebelwerfer shot happening in the vicinity of this area, but you know, other than sandbags, maybe there was infantry there. I don't see any corpses. Maybe they're lurking in the fog of war. But it was so far off the light AT gun, you know, unusual. Anyway, the Tiger's moving into the right hand side, and Thompson-Nagant, what's he? Is he trying to hide that half track inside the warehouse? That didn't go too well for him. Once again, powering down like those machines on Star Wars. The name escapes me. Pod racers. Love them. This game needs pod racers, of course. Veteran Tiger, not at all scared to enter the zone and sit right on top of it. You can see the tank commander being super pro, gunning down infantry as they cross the road. But Shooter, this is... yeah, I question your actions now. I know you're a good player, but this seems a little strange, a little risky. But it's definitely working. You have that zone, so, you know, I'm not a good player. I cannot possibly comment. We have an officer here from Underground General looking with his binoculars. Clearly, that guy has, like, not 20/20 vision. He has, like, anti-vision. And requires binoculars to see those guys hidden behind the wall. So, a very aggressive assault happening here for the Commonwealth at the moment. A motorcycle comes up and does absolutely nothing. Thompson-Nagant destroys that motorcycle, finishes it off, but now he's got this problem with a 222, which is going to come straight into the back of all his infantry against that wall. It looks like he retreats one of them. He has neutralized this zone. He's not going to stick around to protect it, though. That's a very wise decision. Remember, retreating is never bad in this game. Well, okay, yeah, it can be bad, but sometimes it's never bad, and that's very important, because if you lose all your stuff, then they can't fight another day. Well, that was smooth, Inuki. We've got an armoured division moving off to the centre right. I'm not sure what it wants to do. It's stopped at this point here. There's some more Nebelwerfer shots firing at that AT gun. It does get it. That will allow the armoured vehicles to move up a bit more safe. Flares come down on this machine gun, but it looks like the machine gun notices and pulls out the Lukes. And Panzer III and Veteran Tiger, are they all bundling together? What exactly do they want to do? There's so much movement on the back. This Tiger looks like it's trying to get the AA tank behind this building. It just fires straight through it. Thompson-Nagant has now lost that tank. What a shot. There's a lot of movement on the map for Team Germany. Not that much infantry though. Not that that matters. We do have 4 zones to free at the moment, which means the points are going up for us. We don't need to run into any zones. Flares cut down on this machine gun, which means I think this left-hand point is soon to be under control by the UK forces. Tiger, Lukes and Panzer III. There's just so much armour in the middle of the field for Germany at the moment. Orliken, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I will go with Orliken because it sounds like Heidoken. Nevertheless, its name is not important. It died super fast. Nebelwerfer firing into the trenches. Infantry approaching on that left-hand side as well as the right-hand side. Look at the nice line formation Thompson-Nagant has going. But it's time to quickly hop over to the left-hand side. An underground general is preventing any infantry from moving into this zone and neutralizing. But AT infantry pops out from behind the barracks and destroys that 222. Deathshand showing perfect use of the AT infantry in this game. Keep them behind corners and then hopefully a vehicle gets too close and you just pop out, take a shot, and that's the end of the tank. Deathshand managing to maintain infantry in that area long enough to neutralize it. So we're back down to 3 zones, 2 free, no point sticking up for anyone. Volkstrom coming into this left-hand zone. They're going to sit in the trenches. Hopefully, there's absolutely no cover in that central zone right now. Apart from one crater, he would have to enter that crater. Kind of a distance away for him. Smoke's going up for Deathshand, which means he's going to try and enter that zone. Maybe take that crater for himself. Panzer II Lukes for Shooter. Entering the right-hand side in this Fragtown zone. A lot of buildings missing. Soon to see some more of these buildings missing. I'm sure this is not the end of the carnage, but at the moment that Panzer II Lukes is just searching for a target. Not sure what that target might be. Infantry could be lurking around any corner. Crusader AA tank is enough to take out that Lukes. The closer that AA tank gets, the more deadly it will be against the armor. It damages the tracks from this distance. Unfortunately, it's going to find a hard time repositioning around these buildings. In the back here, we've got a quarter pounder. Food. I am so hungry right now. We can see the officer is spotting this area with his binoculars. I do hope the microphone isn't picking up my tummy because it has rumbled a few times, but you know, what can you do? Anyway, officer spotting, all cool. Now, even though he knows the location of those 25 pounders, there's only this Nebelwerfer that can actually fire against it, and I think that's too short a range. He would have to move that up a lot closer and risk losing that if he wants to take out the 25 pounders in the back. Unless Shooter wants to sacrifice his Lukes to go take it out. I don't think he's overly keen on that idea. Veteran Tiger now in open field. I much prefer this position. The AA gun, AA Crusader tank from Thompson-Nagant drives through the building, carves a hole into the second building, destroys the Lukes. Now that's creative thinking. Awesome. Although I suppose it's not so awesome for Team Germany. Losing that Lukes, we got an officer spotting behind this wall. Just one infantry by the looks of it. But, you know, great use of officer at the moment, using that to spot. A lot of people forget about them, that they have binoculars. We've got more trench combat happening on this far left-hand side. Currently this zone is controlled by the UK. It's going to be determined whose points start ticking up in the middle, and at the moment it's just gone green, which means now Germany has it. Points are going up for us. The game is so far from over though. Currently 66 points for Germany, 24 for the UK. Still just under half this game left to go. They've got to maintain their momentum. which looks like they've kind of lost a little bit. There's less infantry on the field for the Germans at the moment.